I was like very high. I was pushing for like 15 hours. My body was shaking, but my hands, I'm not joking you, were like this. Hello everyone and welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Daniela. You could very possibly be new here because we have had a bunch of new subscribers. We are now at 400 subscribers. Actually, last time I looked, we were at 406. So thank you to all 406 of you. If you've been here from the beginning or if you're just joining us on our journey, welcome to the family. Awesome to have you here. I feel like it's been so long since I've done just like a sit down video and been able to speak with you guys, so it's very nice to be back. A lot has changed, obviously, if you're aware of my situation. I just recently had a baby, little Raina, and she is actually just 3 weeks yesterday, so still a little youngin'. She's actually on a walk right now, so I was like, try to get this video in. Guys, like, I know everyone says having a newborn is hard and stuff, but like, it's just very time consuming, like, obviously, but you're literally, well, for me at least, I'm breastfeeding and I swear she's constantly hungry, like very hungry all the time, and like she's getting fed lots, like she has lots of dirty diapers and all that stuff, but she's just one hungry girl. I think she's like going through her first growth spurt or something, so I'm trying to get this video in while she is on her walk and I'm not needed. So I'll probably have to leave eventually for some breaks and stuff to feed her and all that good stuff, but I'll make sure to get it done, and I'll have to introduce you guys to her as well. Other than my labor and delivery video, she hasn't been on my channel yet and I haven't really done a whole sit down and introduce you guys to her. And before we actually get into today's video, if you are new here, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and turn the little notification bell on so you can be notified every time I post, which is every single Wednesday. It helps support my channel a lot. I took a couple weeks off just because like I had a baby and stuff and that was hard. So anyways, we should be back on track now. So that is awesome, great to be back. But today's video is basically just gonna be me, as you can read in the title, talking about my birth story and how it went. It's just gonna be pretty casual and just me, I guess, kind of filling in the blanks or just going through that day, because obviously you got to see a lot, which I'm so thankful for. I got to capture a lot of stuff in that labor and delivery video and like what actually went on during that day, but there were certain things that we couldn't capture or I just forgot in the moment. So I'm just gonna kind of be walking you guys through that whole day and even a couple days before, just how the ball kind of got rolling and when I kind of had some suspicions that, yeah, I think I'm going to labor, I think this is legit, and then all the way to when she finally came out and joined us and all that good stuff. So I guess we will start with Saturday, August 22nd, and we are dealing with 2020 here as well, the lovely year of 2020. So yeah, Saturday the 22nd, well, okay, I guess we should backtrack a couple of weeks actually. Like, I'd been getting Braxton Hicks contractions, and if you don't know what those are, they're basically like false or like fake contractions. Like your body is like getting yourself ready. Like they are technically contractions or like some sort of them, but like not like the actual labor contractions. So it's just your body like practicing contractions basically. So like some people say they don't hurt. They did for me. They basically just felt like really bad period cramps, and now that I've actually been through serious contractions, like the real labor contractions, they felt pretty much the same to me. So anyways, yeah, I was getting pretty bad Braxton Hicks contractions. Like I think it was like August like 7th or 8th, around there. So a couple weeks before I actually ended up giving birth, I was getting these Braxton Hicks contractions, and then that went away. And like the thing with those that I knew or like was pretty sure it wasn't labor contractions was because they weren't like, usually with labor contractions you'll have a contraction for like a minute and then they'll be like, I don't know, 6 minutes apart, and then you'll have it for a minute and then 6 minutes apart, and then they'll get closer and closer. But for the Braxton Hicks ones, they were just like, it was just like a constant pain, like literally 2 hours of just constant pain, and it was more like an achy feeling. Anyways, yeah, so that I had about 2 weeks before, something like that. So then getting closer to when I actually gave birth, I believe on the 23rd 21st, so that would have been the Friday, I started getting like actual contractions. But again, these were kind of sporadic and they had no pattern to them. So like I would get one and then literally like 20 minutes later would get another one, and then like a minute later I'd get one, and then all that stuff. So like there was no pattern to it. So when they talk about contractions, at least what I've heard, they're just like look for the patterns, and when they start to get close together, then you know it's most likely labor contractions. So anyways, yeah, so that was on Friday the 21st. I was getting those. That went all the way into Saturday as well. And then Saturday night, they started to get like really bad. And if you saw my labor and delivery video, you'll see that I was like in the tub Saturday night and I was having contractions there. I didn't really know what to do. I just felt like the tub would kind of make me feel better. So I sat in there, was having contractions in there, and then they really started to develop a pattern and started to get close together. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is it. Liam at the time, Liam's my husband, by the way, he was sleeping, so I was like, okay, I don't really want to fuss him too much because he plays soccer, so he had training the next day, or I think training, yeah, so not a game, so just training the next day. But still, I was like, okay, I want to try to let him rest as much as possible. So anyways, I was in the tub, I was on the phone with my parents, but then yeah, they started to get like very close together, and I woke Liam up. Actually, I woke him up a little bit before just to kind of let him know that I was going through this, but then I went to the tub. Anyways, but then I went back, woke him up, and was like, hey, I think we're gonna be going to the hospital tonight. So anyways, I was like on my birthing ball for a little bit, just like bouncing around. And it's funny with contractions because like once you get them, you're in so much pain. Like I'm not gonna lie, contractions freaking hurt like a lot. Again, they feel like just really bad period pains, but like it's just your insides like tight, like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like literally I guess just like your insides tightening up, and like there's nothing else you can really think about other than that contraction happening, and you kind of just have to like internalize it and breathe through it, and like you don't really want to talk to people or anything like that. So but it's funny though, because you go through that and it hurts so much, but then you're like fine, and then it comes back, and again like same thing, but you're fine between the contractions. It's literally just a contraction that you're like ow. Anyways, so yeah, Liam and I were sitting in our room and I was having these contractions. Then we decided to call up the hospital because I believe at this point my contractions were starting to be like 3 minutes apart, something like that. So you're supposed to, I'm pretty sure, call in when they get around there, or like even go into the hospital when they're 4 minutes apart. But I was trying to labor at home for as long as possible just because of COVID, and like Liam wouldn't be able to go into the hospital with me, at my hospital at least, until I'm in active labor, which is when you're 4 centimeters dilated. So I didn't want to go in and be like 1 centimeter dilated or something like that, and then like have to wait for a really long time without him. But we called the hospital and just explained to them everything that was going on and my contractions and how far apart they were, all that. And they ended up telling us to wait like an hour or two. But I was like, I can't. Like I knew in my heart, we lived 25 minutes away from the hospital too. So I was just like, seriously, like I'm not having this baby at home or in the car. Like no, like my game plan from the start was to have an epidural, and I was like, no way am I doing this at home. No. So anyways, I was like, okay, you know what, let's drive there, and so be it. Like I was just in a lot of pain. I was like, if I have to wait longer without you, I guess I'll do that, because I'm just in a lot of pain right now and I want to make sure everything's okay. So we ended up driving there and they checked me out, and I ended up being 4 centimeters dilated. So Liam was able to come in like an hour later after they checked me out and everything. So he was just like sitting in the hallway. At this point it was like, I want to say like 4 or 5 a.m. sometime around there. You can refer to the times again in the labor video, they're more specific. But yeah, so he came in and then we got our own room, like for me to give birth and all of that. So we got in there, and then we had to just wait, like for me to get my epidural and everything, we had to wait like another hour or something. And I ended up getting the epidural. Well, at first actually they gave me gas, and I found it did nothing. Like literally, I don't know what kind of gas or whatever it was, but it did nothing. Basically, it was just more to like focus on my breathing. So when I would get a contraction, you just have to like blow in, blow out, and it's supposed to help you focus on your breathing, but I was just like, okay, this does nothing. So anyways, that kind of sucked. But then I ended up getting an epidural, and like, it's kind of funny, you can even see in my video, you can see my whole face just like relax, and I'm like feeling so much better. And it's funny because like I wasn't sure how the epidural would make me feel, but I didn't feel like high or anything like that. It literally just took the pain away. So I was like awesome, because the contractions, like honestly, I do not know how moms like do it without any medicine or anything. Like obviously it's possible, and I'm sure your body like releases its own kind of medicine and stuff like that, but like the contractions I was feeling, I was like, if I had to feel this for another however many hours, like props to you people who do it without anything, because like no way, I'd be like, get me out of here, no way. So yeah, props to you guys who do it without anything. But as soon as I got my epidural, I was like, best decision I've ever made. So that made me feel a lot better. So yeah, I got that and all was good. They had to top me up a couple times, just because like I started to be able to feel the contractions like a little bit again. So I was like, nope, like come back here. So anyways, yeah, I got that done, had the epidural, and then pretty much like other than that, like a lot of your time in the hospital is seriously just waiting. At least in my case, was just waiting for yourself to dilate more, because you can't start pushing, I believe, until like 10 centimeters or like, I think it's 10, somewhere around there. So yeah, it's just a lot of waiting to be dilated completely. So we were just kind of sitting, and the thing is though, is like I was so tired and just hadn't eaten anything, obviously, because like we went through the night, and you're not like really eating at 2 in the morning or whatever. You don't think to, especially when you're in pain. So yeah, I had, well, both of us, Liam and I, hadn't slept. And then with the epidural, that was the only downside to the epidural. It, I think, just made me like kind of sick, and like I was throwing up. Like I think in total throughout my whole labor experience, I threw up like 7 times or something like that. But yeah, the epidural didn't make me feel the best, but I would still rather the epidural than the contractions. But like literally, I remember Liam was eating like a bag of chips or crisps, whatever you want to call them, wherever you're from. But like potato chips is what I'm saying. And I literally took one and threw it up. So like my body was like, nope, like no food, no nothing. So that just made me feel like really weak. And then I would try to nap as much as I could in the hospital, but like I'm also the worst for like sleeping sitting up, like even on planes or buses or whatever. Like I'm so bad at sleeping like sitting up like that. So anyways, I tried. I did catch a couple of these, but not much. Like I didn't sleep too much. Liam got more sleep than I did, lucky boy. But yeah, so he got more sleep and more food. I didn't really, but that kind of like set me up, which I think also is pretty common. A lot of women don't really like eat or sleep that much going into labor, just because they've had so much pain. And then especially if you have the epidural, or just if you're in a lot of pain from the contractions, you're probably not the hungriest or really able to eat. So yeah, that definitely brought my energy levels down. But yeah, other than that, like it honestly was just a lot of kind of waiting around and just talking and chilling. We had an amazing midwife. Shout out to you, you know who you are if you end up watching this video somehow. She was so nice. So just like a lot of talking to her, getting to know her. Like I definitely got to know like all the staff that came in. We also, if you don't know, didn't know the gender of our baby. So like literally every single person who came in, they're like, oh, like what are you having, blah blah blah. We were like, we don't know, but we were asking everyone to like put in their vote on what we were gonna have. So it felt like a nice little family kind of like fun environment we developed there. But yeah, so I ended up being 8 centimeters dilated eventually, or like 6 and 8. It progressively went on. So when you think about it, we got to the hospital around 5 a.m. and then I don't think I was 10 centimeters dilated till like, I don't know, later in the day. And then since I wasn't at 10 yet, we had to wait 4 more hours. So we were like, oh my gosh, like that was almost the worst part. Just like you knew you were so close, but then you had to wait. Anyways, yeah, so I didn't start pushing, I think, till like 6:15, around there. So yeah, I didn't start pushing till then, but eventually, obviously, I was 10 centimeters dilated. Then they're like, all right, like let's start pushing. So we're like, okay, this is it, awesome. And keep in mind, my whole pregnancy has been like awesome, like health-wise at least. It had been really good, like the baby was always healthy, I was always healthy, I wasn't high risk pregnancy or anything like that. The very last ultrasound I got, actually, she was measuring a little bit big, so they wanted me to go do like a growth scan to see like how much she weighed or whatever, but I ended up going to labor, so it didn't end up being able to get that ultrasound. But yeah, everything was good health wise. The only thing that was super annoying, that I don't know, like in Canada, at least how it was for me, because I started my pregnancy out, like at least the appointments and stuff in Canada, and I had my own family doctor, and she actually ended up specializing in, I don't even know what it's called, but like babies. Like she was able to deliver babies and stuff, so it was kind of like perfect for me because I was familiar with her and she would be able to deliver my baby. So that was great. And every time I would go to see her, like I would see her every time. She obviously knew me, knew the baby, so that was really nice. But then when I came to the UK, I'm not sure if this is how it is everywhere or if it's just because of COVID or something like that, but basically they have midwives here. So midwives, they're different than they are like in Canada or in the US. Like that's who delivers your baby and stuff like that if you don't need doctors, and that's who you see every time. And like they have to go to school and everything like that. Like it's different than like a doula or something. I don't know too much about it, so if I'm like speaking wrong about something, don't come for me, but I'm pretty sure that's like the gist of it. But yeah, the thing that I didn't like is that I always saw someone different. Like I literally not once ever saw the same person, so that it just like kind of sucked because it felt like there was no like personal connection to any of it, and like I had to explain my story every single time, and even just having to like introduce yourself every time. It was kind of like, I don't know, like I like just having the fact that they knew me and they knew my baby at home. But I don't know, that was the only kind of frustrating thing. But I don't know, like I said, if that's normal here, if it was more because of COVID. But then I hear other people who get like the same midwife every time here, so I don't really know how it works. But that was kind of the only frustrating part. But other than that, everything was like healthy and stuff. So that's what I mean by my whole pregnancy was really good that way. Going back to the actual story, so yeah, we're finally able to start pushing. I was like excited but nervous, as you would be. I was just excited to meet my boy or girl, I didn't know what it was. So yeah, just very excited and nervous. But I'm like, in general, like I was an athlete my whole life. Like I played Division I hockey at school, all that stuff. So like I'm a fairly like strong girl or like athletic girl. So I was like, all right, like I got these pushes, you know what I mean? So I started doing them. Like I was giving them my all, and I felt like I was doing well. I was listening to the instructions that the midwife was giving me and all that. But like nothing was happening. So that was just so disheartening, because like when you're trying so hard, and obviously it's something that you're not comfortable with, like, you know, you're not pushing on the regular. So anyways, yeah, I was trying super hard, and I didn't realize, but like I know in movies you see women like when they're giving birth and the doctor's like, all right, push, and they're like pushing their heart out, like their face is red and stuff, but like you don't realize like how hard you actually have to push. Because like I didn't know that, like I thought you just push, but you have to like hold your breath and stuff. Like you hold it, like I don't even know how to explain it, but like you push and have to like hold it all in. And like literally I was like, all of my blood vessels are gonna be popped. Like it was hurting my head. I was like, ow, like this blows. Like I don't know how many pushes I'm gonna have to do, but this sucks. Like I'm not a fan. So I did not like that. And long story short, I ended up having to push for literally like an hour, which might not seem like, I don't know, I feel like you hear horror stories, people are like, I was pushing for like 15 hours or something like that. But like that hour felt like so long. But especially, I feel like it wouldn't be that bad if there was some progress. But the thing with me that I ended up finding out later was she was stuck behind my pelvic bone or pubic bone. What are the bones? I don't know. But like her shoulder was stuck behind it because she was like facing the wrong way. Again, like in my labor and delivery video, you'll see the doctor like explaining it in more scientific terms or whatnot, probably like proper terms. But yeah, she was stuck behind some kind of bone on me, so like she couldn't get any further no matter how hard I was pushing. So that's why it was just so disheartening, because I was like trying so hard, and I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure like I'm a fairly strong girl, like I don't know why it's so difficult for me to get this baby out. Like you see some videos and they like push really hard like 3-4 times and it's like, all right, we're out, you know? But it was not the case for me. But at least I found out like there was an actual reason. Like I remember literally in the video asking the midwife, I was like are my pushes shitty? Like why is there no progress? Or I was even like, you see at one point I'm like, can we just get a vacuum please? Like just get this girl out of here. Anyways, so yeah, long story short, I was trying to push for like an hour and nothing was happening, but they explained that she was facing the wrong way or whatnot, and they were like, hey, you know, we're gonna have to give you a hand probably because like there was starting to get like swelling in her head, and like I think her heart rate was going up or down or whatever one you don't want it to go. So yeah, so it started to get serious pretty much, and I was just so tired at this point. Like imagine just like pushing as hard as you can for an hour and nothing happening. So like mentally I was exhausted, physically I was exhausted, and remember I hadn't ate or slept for so long, so my body just had like no fuel in it. Like it was just a very long day and just process. So yeah, they're like, we're gonna have to give you a hand, we'll try forceps first, and then if that doesn't work we'll have to do a C-section. And like I probably didn't do as much research as I should have on like forceps and stuff like that, but like I remember hearing people like speaking poorly about forceps, but like I wasn't exactly sure what it was. Like I'm pretty sure it's just like clamps that you get on the baby's head or something and like pull them out. I don't know why there's such like a kind of negative like stigma or something around it, but I don't know. I honestly wasn't fussed. Like I was like, yeah, if you whatever, like whatever way to get this baby out like safely and that I can be through this, like awesome, great. But I just knew, because they told me with forceps like you're still gonna have to push. So I was like, you know what, like I know I'm not gonna be able to push anymore. Like it's not even that I just like don't want, like I can't, not like I can't do it, like I couldn't, like I was no energy. I was so just mentally gone by this point. So I was like, you know what, let's just skip straight to the C-section, because I literally had already envisioned in my head going in, doing the whole forceps thing, having to push for another how many hours or however long you can even do that for, and then end up having to get a C-section anyway. So I was like, please, let's just skip through that. So I told them that's what I decided I wanted to do, and the doctor agreed with me, or was like supportive of my decision. She was awesome too. Like literally everyone I dealt with at the hospital was amazing. Even like the anesthesiologist, or I think that's the word, but he was great. The guy who gives like the drugs and stuff, he was awesome. Like everyone was so good. So thumbs up to them for being awesome throughout that like crazy experience. But yeah, so we went straight to the C-section, and at this point I think my epidural had run out, or like was non-existent, because I could feel all the contractions, and it wasn't just pressure, like it was pain. Like it hurt so much. Like honestly, I'm not trying to scare anyone from like having a baby or whatever, but just like this was just my experience. I was in so much pain. Like it was awful. I was like, give me back the epidural. I don't know what happened to it, but anyways, yeah, so I was in a lot of pain, and I was just like, I just need to get out of this. Get me please to the theater as soon as possible. The theater, like where they do the surgery and everything. So anyways, they're like rolling me down. For some reason, the like hospital bed, like the wheels were all screwed up. So like they were trying to push me, and we were like hitting, like not hard, like they're fine, they were great, but like hitting like walls or doors or whatever. I was like, get me to the theater please. Like I was in so much pain. Anyways, so we get in there, and then they ended up giving me like a spinal tap, and then they gave me gas too. Anyways, I was like very high. Like I don't do drugs or anything, but like literally in that moment I was like, okay, I know I am high. Like they gave me this gasso, and they told me it was the same one that I had in my room like previously, the one that I was saying didn't do anything. And they were like, hey, breathe this in. And I was like what is this? And because I started to feel like high, and they're like, oh, it's the same thing you had in your room. And I remember saying like, no, like this is the good stuff. Like I was just like, oh my god, like looking back on it, you're like, why was I saying this stuff? Like I don't even know some other stuff I was saying. Like I was just trying to be like a goofball, I don't know why. But yeah, so I ended up getting that, the spinal tap. I don't know if I was like high from the Spinal Tap or the gas or just a mixture, but anyways, my pain was gone, moral of the story. So I was a happy girl. I was just lying down. The thing about the C-section though is like my hands, okay, my body was shaking, but my hands, I'm not joking you, were like this, because you're lying down, your arms are to the side, and my arms were literally shaking like this. Like Liam came in and he was like, are you okay? Like I think he was asking people like, is she okay? Like why is she shaking so much? Like it looked like I was having a freaking like seizure. Anyways, I think that's just like a side effect or whatever. And then also your jaw, if anyone who's had a C-section I'm sure can relate, because I was talking to the other women in the ward after about this and everyone's like, yeah, me too, but your jaw like just like clenches. So like they're, after Reina was born, like they're showing me the baby, I'm like, ah, like anyways, it was weird. But yeah, like I remember everything. I just remember being like goofy and stuff, you know. So Liam got to scrub in and he came in for that, so I was really happy. And I was just worried about like the baby to make sure they're safe, but they assured me, they're like, no, baby's fine, Liam's here. So like I was a happy girl, I wasn't in pain, so yeah, everything was good for me. And then yeah, they cut me open and she came out and she was healthy. She cried. That was one thing I was like kind of worried about. Like I know not all babies cry right away, but like I remember just like in movies and like shows and stuff, the baby comes out and is like silent and like something's wrong. So anyways, I was like just worried about that, but she came out and she like let out a little cry and I was like, oh awesome. And then she ended up being a girl, so that was cool. I was like so set that she was gonna be a boy for some reason. Like even the first outfit I put her in, she was in like this like blue bodysuit, so all the midwives are like, oh, what's his name? And I'm like, oh gosh, like so literally that night I was like ordering bows on Amazon in like my hospital bed. But yeah, no, so that's like pretty much it. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but it was kind of just like a whirlwind. I wanted to do this video now before I did forget everything or anything. Yeah, I mean, overall, like it was a pretty like, I don't know, like crappy experience, just like from the pushing and stuff like that. The C-section was great, like had a great time. I mean, as good of a time you can have during a C-section, but obviously like as cliche or cheesy as it sounds, like I would do it all again. Like she, not to cry, I can't blame it on the hormones anymore, but she's like amazing. Honestly, it's so crazy when they give you this baby and you're like, this is mine. Like I remember even changing her and seeing like her veins on her chest and stuff like that, and I was like, I made those. Like Liam and I, we made that. Like it's just crazy. Like obviously you're like, yeah, duh, but like until you like see it and it's your own, it's like, it's crazy to see, you know what I mean? Like, and especially feeling it in your stomach like getting bigger and bigger, and then yeah, you finally see this thing, you're like, holy, like it's crazy. Anyways, yeah, so would definitely do it again. I don't know, I might just go straight to the C-section next time because that was a lot better than the pushing, but we'll see, who knows. Yeah, so that is my birth story in a nutshell. We brought her home and everything, introduced her to like our dog Casper. He's like a big Great Pyrenees. He's awesome with her. He tries to lick her head sometimes, but other than that is really good. And just Liam's family and stuff, and then we'll, I guess, get to introduce her to my family. I don't know when, we'll see. I think my mom's gonna be coming soon-ish, so that would be really awesome. And then maybe Christmas time for the rest of my family, fingers crossed. And then also Liam's mom will be here at Christmas time too. So yeah, we'll see where all that goes. But birth story wise, that is everything from me. Okay guys, sorry for the change of scenery and outfit and everything. Reina was actually asleep yesterday when I was filming this, so I didn't want to wake her up. But I promised to introduce her to you guys, so you're making so many noises. Hello. Okay, so this is this is little Reina. She's pretty sleepy right now. She's like, why am I here? Hello. I'm sorry. Anyways, so yes, this is little Reina here. She was like 6 pounds and 10 ounces, so she's like, I think she's 6 or 7'1" now, so she's gained she's gained her weight back and everything. So she's a happy baby. She's very good. So this is little Raina Miller. Again, if you want to see more like day-to-day stuff and like updates, especially with her, you can follow my Instagram because I'm posting her constantly. It might as well be your Instagram by this point. But yeah, that was her, and she'll be featured in a lot of my other videos, I'm sure. She is what a lot of my videos are based on. So again, as I always mention, if you guys do have any video suggestions, bless you, or things that you want to see, make sure to let me know, comment down below. Anyways, back to the rest of the video. If you guys have any questions, or if you think I left anything out that you were kind of wondering about, or just like honestly, if you have any questions about my experience at all, you know me, if you've been watching my videos, I am very open and open to any questions anyone has. So yeah, just leave a question down below, and if you guys are interested and like want to see more day-to-day stuff, just like of my life and Raina and all that stuff, go follow my Instagram as well. Actually, I'll put it down here. Follow my Instagram as well. But yeah, so that is my birth story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it didn't scare anyone, but honestly, that's just the reality of how it went. But overall, I mean, like, it could have been a lot worse. So I'm just like so thankful that both her and I were healthy coming out of it, and that all overall went well. So if you are pregnant right now and waiting, again, I hope it didn't scare you or anything like that, but you'll be fine. It'll all go well, and my fingers are crossed for you. Like I said, once you get the baby in your hands, you like kind of forget everything that happened in the moment, and you're just like so happy with this little baby. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you haven't yet, definitely make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, and turn on the little notification bell so you can be notified every time I post, which is every single Wednesday. So have a great day or night, whatever time it is where you are, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.